Hi everyone, my name is Aurora Dimake. I'm a lecturer in Galway-Mayo Institute of Technology, GMIT, in the Mechanical and Industrial Engineering Department, and I'd like to present today the study we've carried out in GMIT, an evaluation of the impact of project-based learning on student engagement in the Six Sigma Green Belt Quality module, a module that I teach for third-year students in the mechanical engineering. This is a very short overview of my study, starting from the aim of the study and ending with conclusions and recommendations for further study. As the name of my study suggested, the aim was to evaluate the impact of project-based learning methods on student engagement in the Six Sigma Green Belt Quality module in GMIT. I would like to start with a brief presentation of the context of this research. Industry wants graduates of our programs to have obviously the hard skills that are critical in engineering, but also soft skills like communication, teamwork, critical thinking, problem solving, something that has come up as requirements only in the recent years, maybe the last 5 years. This module that we've done our study on, the Six Sigma Green Belt Quality module, which is teaching the Six Sigma methodology, methodology for improvement, which is very much applied in industry, is helping students to acquire both hard skills and soft skills. But what I've noticed is that sometimes students disengage with the content. It might be that they find engineering content too challenging. It's not just this module, other engineering modules as well. Or it's sometimes students, they don't see the need for soft skills. So then we were looking at different teaching strategies, and we were thinking and wondering if there is a teaching strategy that could help both equip students with the skills that they need and also engage them with their learning. But before that, I would like to clarify what student engagement is. And we've adopted in this study Dixon's definition. Student engagement is the extent to which students actively engage by thinking, talking, and interacting with the content of a course, but also with the other students, with the lecturer. And this is the definition adopted for this study. I've also identified 3 aspects of student engagement and some indicators that show such engagement, as you can see on this diagram. One of them is behavioral engagement, the degree to which students are actively involved in learning activities. And you can see a few indicators that show behavioral engagement: learning effort, participation in class, communication. Another dimension of student engagement is the emotional engagement, which is the student's effective reaction to learning. And some indicators presented on this slide are learning satisfaction, feelings of being supported, of belonging to a learning community, learning passion. And the third dimension of student engagement that was used in the study, identified in literature, is cognitive engagement, the degree to which students spend mental effort to understand and to master content. And that can be seen in knowledge, perseverance, resilience in face of challenges, use of deep rather than superficial strategies, self-regulated learning. All these suggest cognitive engagement. Now that we've clarified what student engagement is and what we need to look at in order to identify student engagement, next thing that we looked at was different teaching strategies that would help to do what we wanted to do. And literature recommends project-based learning as a teaching strategy that is proven to enable students to acquire both hard and soft skills, which we were looking for, whilst also increasing motivation and interest in learning, therefore student engagement. So then definitely a good teaching strategy that would help to do what we were trying to do, and therefore it was adopted for this study. Because we couldn't really find a definition that comprised all the characteristics of project-based learning that are presented on this diagram here, we've come up with a working definition for this study, which is the one on the slide: a teaching strategy that aims to achieve student learning via participating in project designed to address a real-world problem. Something very important in project-based learning, something very important for engineering, a real-world problem. Students work in a small team, and the lecturer is a facilitator rather than a teacher, so in a traditional way, provides instruction, guidance, and support for learning. So now that all these concepts have been clarified, we can formulate the research question: what impact has a project-based learning strategy on student engagement in the Six Sigma Green Belt quality module? Starting from that research question and the type of research, I can present you the methodological framework that was used for this research. The interpretivist approach was found the most suitable for the study because what was important for this research was that we were interested in finding out how students perceive the impact of project-based learning, and I tried to interpret their views. The research methodology that was found the most suitable was the case study, because a case study investigates a problem or a phenomenon in order to get a deep understanding of that. And keeping in mind triangulation, 3 data collection methods were used: observation, questionnaire, and interview. And all these 3 tools were carefully designed, reviewed, and piloted with students. And of course, one very important aspect of this research is research ethics, especially considering the dual role researcher-lecturer. Here are some extracts from the quantitative data. This first chart is an extract from the responses of participants to questionnaire, which show behavioral engagement. For example, the orange bar there shows I listened to the lecturer's explanation, or the purple one, I asked for help when I needed it, or I helped my colleagues, the brown bar there. So different indicators of behavioral engagement. The second chart there shows cognitive engagement. It represents the answers of the participants to the questionnaire. For example, the green bar there should show that quite a large number of students said that they understood what they knew and what they didn't know as a result of using the project-based learning method. Or again, another large number of students showed that project-based learning helped them to keep up to date with their work rather than leaving that to pile up till the end of the semester. This slide shows some qualitative data. For example, this one is an extract from an interview with participant number 4, which shows feelings of satisfaction and accomplishment at the end of the project. It suggests emotional engagement. And in terms of cognitive engagement, a short extract from the interview with participant number 2, which said that sharing ideas helped him build their own skills. Therefore, collaboration influenced positively the students' accumulation of knowledge. A deductive approach was employed to the thematic analysis based on the themes of student engagement that were identified in literature: impact of project-based learning on behavioral engagement, on emotional engagement, and on cognitive engagement. And some sub-themes emerged from the study. For example, For the first team, good participation of students in project class, enhanced communication with peers compared to traditional teaching, and something that came up and which was particular to this study because it was carried out during COVID times, a barrier to communication due to online delivery of the module due to COVID-19 restrictions. So basically, in our institute, everything moved to online delivery for a period of time, for a few months. And at the time of data collection, that was the situation. In terms of impact of project-based learning on emotional engagement, these are the sub-themes that emerged from the study. Students experienced feeling of learning satisfaction, of learning passion, belonging to a small learning community, and being supported by the community. Feelings of learning satisfaction that were related to the practical aspect of the project, the real life situation. Something that came up from this study was that students didn't feel any enjoyment whilst doing the project. And qualitative data suggested that that was mainly due to the online delivery. It looked like students didn't enjoy college life in general, not just this particular module, this particular project. In terms of impact of project-based learning on cognitive engagement, the project helps students to build their knowledge because of the practical work and the real-life application. The group work influenced positively their accumulation of knowledge. Project-based learning helps students to understand better what they knew or what they didn't know. Project-based learning was perceived as helping them keep up to date with their work instead of letting the work pile up. So I could say that overall, project-based learning approach had a positive influence on all the three aspects of student engagement: behavioral, emotional, and cognitive. A few contributions to knowledge of this study. It offered a detailed analysis of the impact of project-based learning on all the three aspects of student engagement: behavioral, emotional, and cognitive. A third level education in the Six Sigma module. It had some contribution of the study of project-based learning impact in an engineering discipline. And it offers the opportunity to understand students' feelings and perceptions in a module where you would traditionally impart knowledge. Of course, there were some limitations of the study, and that's where the recommendations for further study come from. More case studies modeled on the process that was outlined here to include a variety of disciplines at different degree levels and years of study in order to supplement the findings, and also further studies that could build on these findings, and to investigate the correlation between engagement and academic performance, because this study was limited to the engagement, the student engagement, but there is it didn't go beyond that, so we don't know if there is any correlation between engagement and academic performance. This is just a list of references, a short list of references that I've used for this presentation. Thank you very much for your attention, and if you have any questions related to this study, I would be very happy to answer them.